Hello Australia, my name is Kevin Brake and I'm your keynote speaker for today. I'm talking to you live, or should I say pre-recorded stream, from Canada. And my presentation to you today to start off your keynote is titled, If You Don't Give Up, You Win. On your screen right now you'll notice a QR code. For those who actually have phones with a QR code reader, you can just take it up, scan, and that'll bring you directly to the website. For those who do not have a QR code reader, you can use the URL www.alttag.ca. One of the things we were able to do is we can conduct a live Twitter chat throughout this presentation and throughout the entire event. So go to tweetchat.com and type in hashtag eLearning Summit 2018. And here you can actually participate in discussions related to today's event. The next app is called Cluster. That's cluster.io/CARXVMJC. You don't want to type all this in. Just go down to the alttag.ca website, click on the first link on the page, and you can instantly click on all of these and you won't have to type in any of these URLs. Cluster will allow us all to share photos of the event, and if after it's done, you can press a button and print off a book of all the pictures today. So that's kind of cool. And of course, poll everywhere. A big part of my presentation will be interactive, allowing you to use your cell phone device, tablet, or computer to actually reply to questions that I'm going to ask you. So let's go and start our next screen. And of course, this is me. I'd like to welcome everybody today to the eLearning Summit. Today you'll get an opportunity to network with some of the top industry leaders from around the globe. I'm personally looking forward to the different events taking place and encourage all of you to get out and enjoy this experience. And as I said, I'm located in Canada, Toronto, Canada. And I'm really looking forward to today's event. We all would like to get a piece of the $100 billion worldwide e-learning market. That's why we're here. We want to learn more and build bigger and better things. A little about me. I have 27,000 followers on LinkedIn based on my educational videos and feedback that I provide people from around the world. I have 4 million plus views on YouTube, and I have 30 years, hard to believe, 30 years of online education experience, and I'm really looking forward to speaking to you, and I hope that I'm able to provide some insight. Oh, over my years of experience, I've created 100 plus different programs, apps, responsive designs, websites. I've authored 11 books, and I've written and produced about 100 courses. So, I have a question for you. I started programming at what age? So we're going to put up a poll and we're going to ask everyone that's participating in today to take out their mobile device, and hopefully you've already installed the Poll Anywhere app and you've gone to the website. Right now you'll be able to participate in this poll. If not, we will be able to put up the poll again later, and hopefully you'll be able to add in your guess. So I started programming at what age? 5, 11, or 14? Please take a moment to enter in your guess, and I will proceed to the next screen, which will reveal when I started programming. So I started programming at age 11. But how do you start programming when you don't have a computer? And here's my story about how that worked out. I got interested in using computers after seeing an animation of a reindeer during Christmas. The video was playing from one of the places we call over here as a Radio Shack, and it's got all the cool devices and gadgets. It's now called The Source, but when I was a young boy, it was called Radio Shack. The video was playing in the window, and it was this reindeer on a computer screen just moving around. I was like intrigued, like how the hell did he do this? I gotta know. And it was very interesting that what I ended up doing is I went to the business after when I was 10 years old, 10 and 11. I went to the business after school. I run over there and I went to the computer section. They had all these computers and they had these people there that had no idea what they were or how they worked, and they were supposed to be selling the computers. So what I ended up doing is every evening I would come over and I had a cassette tape. I don't know a lot of people know what a cassette tape is anymore. Everything's USB sticks, CD-ROMs and whatever, but this is way back when we used to actually save data on cassette tapes. And I would take my cassette tape and I would take the book and I would read the book, and I was trying to learn how to do these animations at 10 and 11 years old. So, you know, it's kind of interesting that I had the focus at that time to do that. But because I seen that reindeer, I wanted to make it happen. I went and I started reading the book, and I would type out pages and pages and pages of code. When I was finished, I was able to get this little block float across the screen, and another little block would float up to the block that's on the screen, and it would pop a hole into it. So I thought that was cool. It was like probably, geez, how many pages? Let's just say many pages and many pages of code. I never had a computer, so I went there to the store and I started reading about the computers, and I started programming. But you know, why would they let me stay there? Well, it turns out that nobody knew what a computer was or how to sell it. So when they would see a cute little kid, you know, 11 years old, working on the computer, they would ask me questions. And I ended up selling every single computer there. After that was finished, I never touched computers probably for a few more years, probably about, let me see, 4 years later. So, if you don't give up, don't let anything stand in the way of your education. So for me, I had a barrier. My barrier was I had no computer. Also, my barrier was I didn't know how to use a computer, but I had the will and desire and drive to make that happen. So, you know, take the time, learn for yourself, and you can make things happen. So my next question is, if I started programming at 11, what age was I when I started teaching? Let's see. So my question is to you, did I start teaching at 11, 15, or 17? Now, unofficially, I guess you can say I started teaching at 11 because I was teaching people how to use these computers and why they should sell them, the good points of it, the bad points of it. But let's rule that one out. So it's definitely between 15 and 17. Let's have a look. I started teaching at age 17. Here you'll notice on the left part of the screen there's a picture of me with hair. I don't have any hair now, but back then I did. And one of the products I was using was a QuickTime product that was developed by NASA. And this product would allow really pretty good grayscale quality audio and video. And this is one of the things that I started to use. But how do you start training when you don't have a degree? That was my situation. So here's another story for you. I went to the library and conducted research on computers, software, and government programs. In my case, I found out about a free government program. This program would provide free computers, the most up-to-date software, internet access, and office equipment for free. Guess what? I really wanted to find out where this was going to happen, and I did. And that became another big stepping point for my skills and abilities in the area of online education and training. Back in the early 90s, VHS training was popular. Right now we can go to YouTube and Google just about anything we want. But at the time that I got started, that wasn't available. There actually was no Google. If you can think about it. There was no Google, and there was a lot of different search engines. One in particular called Metacrawler, which would probably just search about every type of search engine at the time. But to get back on track, I watched all of their VHS tapes. It allowed me to learn about Microsoft Office, Microsoft Excel, all the different Microsoft products at the time, Harvard Graphics, which was a precursor to PowerPoint, and a bunch of other programs. Let's see. Oh, I read all the books that they had. They had a business library, and I took advantage of all of it. And I read every book they had there, watched every video that they had there. I instantly became the go-to resource for this government organization because they had all this equipment, didn't know how to use it. And when they seen me come in, and I made it like my full-time job. I was waiting to attend college, and I figured, well, what am I going to do? Stay home and do nothing? No, I seen this opportunity, took advantage of it. Let me see. Oh, here you go. This is an interesting one. I remember when the entire internet fit on a phone book. Every website, and there used to be things called Telnets, Gophers, Archies, Veronicas, and you would type in a code number, you would use your phone, and you would put it down, and you would call up different computers, and there was only a limited number. Times have changed. It's a lot bigger and better than it ever was back then, and it's great to see where it was and now where it is. Let me see. Oh, I remember training people how to use a mouse, right? One of these. So it was quite funny that people didn't understand the concept of cursor on the screen and moving the mouse, and how you interact with a computer using a mouse and a keyboard. It was pretty cool. It's quite a ways back. A lot of people nowadays, like for example, my granddaughter, she has been using computers, and for a very long time. She started earlier than me, probably around 6 or 7, and she's really great at it now. Let me see what else we got here. Oh, overall, it was a great experience. You know, it's wonderful to be at a very young age and be able to take advantage of technology, and I had an opportunity to, and I did take advantage of that technology. So, find it, learn it, and share it. You will win. It's very important to, you know, if you don't know what you need to know, find it. Learn how to do it, and then share it. So one of the things new right now that I'm working on is OBS streaming, virtual reality 360 video with regards to education and training. I came up with some really great concepts that will be implemented in a few of our new upcoming training programs. As well, share it. I have a tendency that if I find something that can't get an answer to, I share it. So anybody who's used to using Articulate Storyline, for example, you can do a keyword search on my name, Kevin, K-E-V-I-N, space B-R-A-K-E, and you will be able to have a review of all the different types of contributions I have made with regards to online education and training. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so let's get to know each other. I have a question for you. Have you ever used a live poll during a presentation? And in particular, one of the most popular ones right now, and the one that I'm using, is called Poll Anywhere. It's free for the most part, and you can pay for another version or what have you. But it's a great program, and I would recommend it. And the question would come up now, and you would be able to use your cell phone device and type in A for yes and B for no, and we'd be able to get some feedback on real-time feedback, by the way. This chart will begin to populate as soon as people start putting answers in, which is pretty cool. Another question. What is your favorite e-learning development tool? Now, you know, there's many that are out there, and I'm probably not going to have enough of them listed, but let's get to the question. And one of the cool things about this one, this is called a word cloud. So, for example, let's say if I went and made it stringent, and I've only put down Captivate, Lectora, and Articulate Storyline. There's a lot more other products out there, probably something even better than what I've mentioned. This allows you, the audience, right now, to put in a whole list of different applications, and we get to learn from each other, and let's see what comes up. Oh, in a word, what are you looking forward to the most during the summit? We're going to use the word cloud once more. There might be a particular presentation you're interested in here today, and let's see what you come up with. And what drives you to succeed? And here is another word cloud. Just put in like maybe it's I want to learn more, I want to be better at my job, I want to succeed, and whatever. You put in your reasons for what drives you to succeed. It's just an interesting question to ask, and it's great to see what pops up on the screen. Let's get to know some of the event organizers for today. So the event today is being organized by Connect Learning, Dare to Know. I was contacted by this gentleman, Reese Walker. He's one of the conference organizers for today's event. And as you can see, he reached out to me via LinkedIn, and here we are. It's a great opportunity. I would recommend, if you do not have a LinkedIn profile, get one. Have no affiliation to LinkedIn, but I gotta tell you, when I decided to change my direction, I used to always only connect with people I knew. And I figured, well, I can't give a recommendation to anybody unless I know them personally. I can say without a doubt that the quality of their work is great. So I didn't, but I've since changed it. And what has happened is I have learned so much from so many people from around the world. I just can't see any reason why you can't reach out. So make it a point, get a LinkedIn profile, reach out and get to know other people. And you get to have opportunities to provide presentations from Canada to Australia. And thank you all for having me here. And let's have a look at what else we have here. Oh, we also have Dana Lightbody, and she is the head of all stuff. I love the title alone. And I'd just like to thank her very much for having me for this event. I really am enjoying the opportunity, and hope everyone has a great event today. Oh, Scooter Lightbody, head of morale and people engagement. So I had a chance to see this, and I was looking at my text messages on my phone, and I came across this. So here's Scooter talking to my dog, George Brink, head troublemaker over at my house. And of course, George is, how's it going, because, you know, we are Canadian, right? And then they continue on like this. They talk about treats and bones, and this goes on for probably about a half an hour, so we're not going to be going on this too much. But I realized that a lot of people have pets, and I do love my dog, and Scooter looks like a good dog too. All right, so Canada and Australia. Right now, from my location to yours, it's 15,000 kilometers from Toronto to Sydney. The question is, are we facing the same training challenges? Well, I'm going to put up a couple of the things, and then you tell me what you think. So, in Canada, we need to find alternative ways to compress traditional in-classroom training sessions. We need to make them shorter, faster, and we need to be able to roll them out without much delay. So, I'm asking you, is that something similar that's happening to you here in Australia? A for yes, B for no. And we can come back to these polling questions later and have an idea of how we did. So we'll move on to the next question. So for training compression techniques, this is what we're doing. We have large curriculum that has been divided into core, elective, and developmental segments. Post-training support can be managed by peers, mentors, coaches, and managers. Much more emphasis is being placed on training to be self-directed with what we've developed, or what I came up with, was a learning portal. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. So, here in Canada, we're being asked to do more tasks that go beyond our job description. So, my question to you. That sound familiar? Is that what's going on with you here in Australia? Because I have a funny feeling that it probably is. Let's have a look. So the question again, if you use your mobile device and you have downloaded the app for Poll Anywhere, the question is yes or no. Have you been asked to do more tasks to go beyond your job description? As well, you can just text the answer to Kevin Brake 863 to 37607, A or B. And of course, the URL for looking at this, if you had to type it all in, is pollev.com/kevinbrake863. So additional duties as required. Sound familiar? Let's have a look. Instructional designers often have crossover duties. An LMS administrator role has been eliminated and duties have been spread across the team. That's what's happened in our area. Before we had a single person uploading files for us. For my purposes, I didn't really see the benefit in it. But once you start to look at the full role of an LMS administrator, you can also see all the different tasks that they do. And when you have to do it yourself, you start to realize there's a lot to it. Oh, technical writing, storyboarding, quality assurance duties are spread across all team members. So this is just a few things that are going on in my neck of the woods. So, lessons learned. What you need to know about migrating from in-classroom learning to digital learning. Characteristics of a traditional teacher. Content can change on the fly, because that's often what happens here in our area with our instructors that have been doing this for 25 to 30 years. Content messaging can be similar, but will be inconsistent. So if you're doing a live class, you don't normally say everything verbatim for every single class you do. During a lecture, a teacher can provide more or less information. Again, sometimes good, sometimes bad. If you get more information, good. If you get less information about the exact same job role or task, not as good. Support materials can be incomplete. Often a presenter does not say everything verbatim per slide. That would just drive people crazy. They might as well just read the slide themselves without having the instructor there. This type of teacher communicates knowledge verbally. So, what are the characteristics of a digital teacher? So the characteristics of a digital teacher: content must be finalized. Content messaging is consistent. It's one of the benefits. It's always the exact same thing. Pre-recorded lecture will provide consistent messaging. Oh, here you go. Support materials stand alone and must be fully completed. See, I can give an in-classroom instructor a partially completed document, maybe 15 pages. Full document is 20. The instructor on the fly often can fill in the blanks. The digital version of the exact same course is not going to have that flexibility. And this type of teacher transfers knowledge into various digital formats. So yes, that's true. A digital teacher is going to think of ways to provide you with the information you need, but they're going to think about doing it in a digital way. The in-classroom teacher is going to think about doing it in an analog way, which means they're going to figure out a way of getting you that information while they have you in the class and they're right in front of you. So, what's going to slow you down? Fear of change, lack of communication. Traditional in-class content is incomplete. So if you're trying to convert content from an in-classroom situation to a digital situation, you'll quickly find out that there are many gaps. And the reason there are gaps is because the instructor themselves bridge that gap. Content needs to be revised, reviewed, and approved. Often, the presentation itself is going to be probably 80% in the mark. But once you start realizing that the content itself has to stand alone, you have to review it, revise it, and get it reapproved almost every time. And of course, the new technology learning curve. The moment that we start really getting into using technology, we're looking at virtual classrooms. People have limited understanding of how they work, both from the instructor end and the participant end. We have the requirements of additional software needing to be installed and people not having the rights in a large corporate structure. So these are the type of things to look for. And new team dynamics. One of the things in particular is that normally you have people that deliver training in the way that they've been delivering it. And when you start looking at it digitally, you're taking what they've been doing one way and completely changing it to a different way. And sometimes this can be challenging, being that people are afraid of change and they don't want to change. They don't think that the change has any value. So these are the type of things that will slow you down. What's going to speed you up? Useful, right? So communicate the new expectations. Often, if you try to steamroll through this, what will end up happening is that people are going to be resistant, going to get their back up. If you take it a little bit slower, get people's involvement, you will have a much more productive movement forward. Get the new infrastructure in place. Because people say, let's just start doing this. The thing is, you got to consider, like, for example, you got bandwidth limitations, you have computer limitations, you have skill limitations on both the participant and the instructor. So, get the infrastructure in place. Start to walk before you run would be great. So train staff to use new technologies. Blend your teams. So if you're using or you're thinking about changing the way that you do things, change the team. Before, a team structure of A might have worked when you're only delivering in-classroom training. But if you have Team B, and Team B is only used to delivering online training, but now you want to blend the two together, blend the teams. Extremely important. This way you reduce a lot of problems coming forward too far down the line, and you just don't waste as much time because you're more organized. Expect resistance, right? People fear change. It doesn't matter what it is. There's a famous picture of there's a guy pushing a cart with square wheels. And another guy saying, hey, round wheel. I'm sorry, we're too busy to use those round wheels. So just to keep that in mind, expect resistance. And do not wait for all conditions to be perfect before you begin. What will end up happening is nothing will ever be perfect. The software won't be perfect, the participants won't be perfect, the instructors won't know everything, the computers won't work perfectly, but the thing is you do have to get started. And once you get started, work the bugs out as you go. So like I'm not recommending just jump into water. I'm recommending prepare yourself and then attempt a small test run. Without that, you can run into a lot of problems. So, don't wait for everything to be perfect, but do your best to make it as functional as possible before you move on. So, challenge. Our training requirements have changed. We need to make adjustments to the content right up to the day of training. Sound familiar? It does to me. What ended up happening several times is that we planned out this really cool digital solution. Work together with the team. Yes, that's exactly what we want. But what ended up happening is at the last minute, we had to go and change everything. And that might have worked out fine for the traditional in-classroom instructor, but it really threw a monkey wrench into our digital solution because some of it was some complex programming that we did to make things look simple and easy, but it was still complex programming. I didn't have the time to make big time adjustments. So let me see. So what would you do if a product was planned and delivered and changed last minute? So how do you usually handle changes that occur last minute? Let's share. Let's discuss. All right, so we're just going to wait for this and we'll come back to it later. So the solution that I came up with, I built a new system that met the needs of the project. It was flexible and easy to use and maintain and fast. That's where the portals came in. And I believe The next slide is going to show you what a portal is. So for us, a portal is a SharePoint site. SharePoint site can have protected sections only for the instructor, where they can keep answer keys, they can discuss what they want to do and how they want to fix things. It has discussion areas that are open to the participants and the instructors to both work together. We normally have a consistent look, feel, and format. So as you can see on the screen right now, we have the name of the portal, a graphic that represents the content, and an overview of the content. And on the right, we have our list of instructors, our contacts, and our consistent layout, which normally is a program overview, schedule, discussion boards, resources, and instructors view. Of course, the instructors view is where the instructors put their answer keys and they have their own internal discussions about this is working, this ain't working, can we fix this, can we tweak that? So that's what a portal is, and it's all done on SharePoint. And it was a response by me to figure out a way to get things done quicker and faster. It's pretty cool. Everybody that sees it loves it. It's spread like wildfire throughout our organization, and maybe it might be useful to you. So as an overview, it has a program overview, tells you everything about the program, lists all the learning objectives, gives you a schedule about what you're going to do, where you're going to do it, and how long you're going to do it for. It has discussion boards where you can go in and participate in different topics. It has resources, which links to various online documents, videos, whatever you need, you can put it in here. And of course, contacts. I need help, who do I call? So all that information is there as well. There's another challenge. How to track training for content not stored on the LMS, right? How are we going to do that? How would you do it? Here's the question. Feel free to give the answer and we'll have a look at it later. Well, for us, I built a new system to track student progress by storing variables into SharePoint. I have 30 years programming experience in a variety of different programming languages. This one in particular I went back to probably 20 years ago when I used to build stuff with JavaScript. So JavaScript and SharePoint, they like each other. So if you want to learn more information about how to, in SharePoint 2010, I know 360, I've heard people talk about it that they no longer support HTML. I don't know about that. I have to find that information out myself. But as for SharePoint 2010, if you want to learn how to take your storyline content and push your variables into SharePoint, I have uploaded that. So you can go to community.articulate.com, do a keyword search for my name, Kevin Brake, B-R-A-K-E, and you will get more information on this solution and some other ones that I've provided. Oh, one of the things is you can build these things, put them on SharePoint, and you can hide the code so it looks very transparent and it looks really nice and crisp, and you don't really have to worry about showing an ugly interface at all. It can be implemented with basic editing rights, which is pretty cool because a lot of the SharePoint sites, you know, depending on where you're to and what organization you're with, you're going to have very little rights. And if you have the right to edit a page or edit a web part, you can put my code in and you can do all kinds of cool stuff. Oh yeah, no need for workflows, no need for external applications or complex SharePoint functionality. I try to make this as very simple as possible. Grab the code, dump it in, and you're good to go. All right, challenge. How to prove a training product's level of accessibility. So, what level of accessibility does your training materials meet? Level A, WCAG level A, WCAG AA, WCAG AAA, or you don't even know what a WCAG is. So, you know, take a moment, answer the question. Again, this is poll anywhere and give it a try and see what you come up with. So my solution was I built a new system that could analyze training application and provide an accessibility report. And that's where alttag.ca comes in. Alt tag allows you to answer a variety of questions, and then after it's finished provides you with an idea of what level of accessibility is your training product at. It's based on the honor system. Just answer these questions honestly and you'll be able to get a realistic view for accessibility. Oh, these are a couple of things. Right now, if you go to the alt tag, it has responsive design, it has multiple language support, has social media integration, has a variety of links to other resources. So when you go there and you don't know how to answer a particular question, you can click on it and you can find out how your training material can meet a particular standard, which is kind of cool. So here's another challenge. Create a secure online system to conduct driver's education. When we did it, we failed. We made a presentation to the Department of Transportation. We were told that they were already working on a driver's education program after they watched our presentation and took notes about everything we did. So this was our failure. But turned that failure into this. I recreated the program, gave it away for free. It is now the #1 free driver's education program in the world. It has over 4 million views just on the driver's ed, and has free online testing for traffic signs. And this is primarily for North America. I know that the rules and regulations may be similar in different parts of the world, but not exactly the same. So even with that limitation, it is the #1 driver's education video when you do a search for it on YouTube or Google. Okay, so do you have any questions about lessons learned? Let's just take a moment, have a look. You have the opportunity, you can either type it in here and we can come back to these at the end of the presentation, but it gives you an opportunity to ask a few questions. Here's one question for you. How well do you know your training statistics? What is the #1 training product to be purchased next year? Is it a learning management system? A. Is it online learning tools and systems? Or is it C, authoring tools and systems? Well, coming in at #1 is online learning tools and systems, with 44% of people that were surveyed were saying that they were actually looking at online learning tools and systems. #2 was learning management systems, with 41%. People, I guess, still don't even have a learning management system. That's very interesting. Or perhaps looking at a new one. And #3, authoring tools, systems, with 37% of the vote. My own thoughts, a lot of people jump into development before they think about learning management system. That is just my own thought on it. But according to this survey by Training, the source for professional development, it's 37%. So online learning innovators, what's coming next? Let's find out, because I've met with a few of these people and they really know their stuff. Let's look at the first one. So movie magic and training. Jason is a strategic partner with MovieCom, the first company to gain legal access to Hollywood movie clip libraries for training. Time to learn more.
It's not enough to be good. We need to put ourselves out there, be different.
You just need people with a desire to better themselves.
We're gonna be positive. Positive, positive, positive.
When it's over,
You guys are gonna be champions.
champions! By God, you're gonna be champions!
We're gonna bust things wide open here. We are gonna take things to the next level.
Let's go!
How cool would it be to have your team feeling like this every single day? Now with MovieCom, you can't. MovieCom is a revolutionary system that helps leaders lead through a whole new way of communicating. At MovieCom, we use Hollywood movie clips to help leaders inspire, motivate, engage, and teach life lessons. We have a wide array of themes covering a broad range of concepts that will help you and your team win. Welcome to MovieCom. The MovieCom experience starts with picking from one of our 300 curated themes. Next, you pick the right clip for the right message for the right audience.
Hey, that's good. That is damn good.
Finally, trim your clip to the perfect length, customize your message, and send it out. It's literally as simple as 1, 2, 3. So what are you waiting for? Join the communication revolution. The future of leadership is here.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
All right, so that was MovieCom. Pretty cool company doing really cool stuff, and you can integrate some real live professional Hollywood quality videos into your training. So hey, it's worth looking into. Next, we're looking at excuse me, looking at interactive VR, and we have Mr. Hemsworth with his team developing an easy-to-use VR development tool. Let's learn more about that.
Research has shown that learning with VR has an increase of 30% in remembering procedures. By using VR, you can be truly somewhere else. You can be immersively trained without being distracted. We at Warp Industries are using this power of VR in combination with 360 interactive video to create a high realistic setting for your trainees. By adding professional actors, even real emotion becomes part of your training. And the best thing is, you only need a smartphone and a pair of VR goggles. We can help you by creating this compelling and engaging form of training. And we are sure it's gonna be awesome.
All right, so that's a little bit about the cool stuff, what I'm considering cool stuff in my part of the world. Let's have a look at our next one. Cool tools for online education. Well, common features of these cool tools are you're able to import PowerPoint, preview the course, has image library, for example, the new Articulate 360, that's pretty cool. Has built-in image libraries, quick and easy sharing options. It's got a lot of good stuff going on. I recommend it to everyone. One of the things in particular, the reason why I recommend that product, it's got one of the best accessibility ratings for course development, except I believe one of its downsides was probably ADA compliant for SRT files for closed captioning. They're working on it, they're not quite there yet, but everything else is great. So my top 5 development tools is Articulate Storyline 360 for complete beginning to end online training development. Camtasia for the most part for developing online videos. Scenario VR, which is a product of Lectora, which is currently in beta. That one's really good, I recommend that. Of course, Captivate and SoundForge. I use SoundForge a lot for developing and editing audio. And my question is, what is your favorite e-learning development tool? Please take a moment to answer the question, and let's have a look at this and see what your e-learning development tools are. E-learning the future. What exactly is coming up next? We're looking at, for the most part, flipped classrooms. This is just my opinion, but I think that's where we're leading to based on my years of experience in this field. So we have traditional lecture with homework-based activities. Now we're looking at flipping it around where we can watch a video lecture and then do in-classroom activities. From my perspective, it's much more valuable this way because I get a chance to first do my video, and then come in for a live presentation or a live interactive class development session. Voice controlled devices. This is going to be big. I've been using the Amazon Echo since it originally came out, probably 7-8 years ago, I can't remember now. And I had to hack it to work in Canada. It wouldn't work in Canada. But now with the opposing product, Google Home, and its ability to tap into a humongous database of information. And we will move on to the next part, which is VR, AR, XR. I believe there's even one called MR. And one of the free development tools you can use for creating virtual reality 360 videos are the product called Unity. You can also use AR for creating augmented reality, and you can also use XR for creating extended reality. For real-time broadcasting, we're looking at Open Broadcasting Software, OBS. Really cool product, highly recommended. I would partner the OBS software with a product called Restream.io. So the URL is Restream.io, and it allows you to take one streaming broadcast and push it out to a variety of different platforms all at the same time. So one of the products that I really liked using was called WalkMe. It records a step-by-step instruction process for online applications. It's really cool. One of its biggest limitations is the ability to work within frames, but if you, and the other thing is you have to actually pay for it first before they'll assist you in doing any type of a demo to make it work inside of a frame set. So if you're comfortable with that, WalkMe is the tool for you. Artificial intelligence, very interesting. Facebook found it too risky to have AI learn without human review and approval. I don't know if a lot of you have taken the time to do some research on this, but they developed 2 AI systems. They started talking to each other. One of the interesting things is that they decided to come up with their own language, that no one else knew what it was, and nobody knew what these 2 devices were saying to each other or what have you, which made Facebook shut it down publicly. I don't know what's going on with it now, but it's kind of a cool direction that we're heading in. Here we go. Since we're talking about the future and things that are going on, in 2012, Harvard cracks the DNA storage, crams 700 terabytes of data into a single gram of DNA, which means that they've been storing information to cells. Normally we store data to silicon. This is storing data to living cells. So I ask you, how long until this happens? Just watch.
Can you fly that thing?
Not yet.
Operator.
Tank, I need a pilot program for a B-212 helicopter. Hurry.
Let's go.
Well, isn't that interesting? That makes our development of online education and training slightly different because you can program all kinds of information into a living cell. I guess one of the biggest things about it is that you also, not only do you need to know something, you need to be able to apply the knowledge. And not only do you need to apply the knowledge, you also need to be able to have the manual dexterity that actually is required to make certain things happen. So for example, there's a difference between knowing everything that a surgeon has to do and having the ability to manually do it with your hands, or even have the intestinal fortitude to be able to handle that type of situation. But it's kind of cool that in the future we should be able to tap into the data that they're storing in live cells. Interesting. So in the future, we may be able to just purchase cells that contain everything we need to know. Isn't that interesting? So instead of going to university, you could purchase these particular cells, which no doubt will be very expensive. And instantly know everything you need to know and probably then switch from a knowledge requirement to a practical application requirement. So training might be more about practical application of knowledge. Okay, so do you have any questions regarding the future of e-learning? If you do, please take a moment to answer the following poll. Put those questions in there, and if we have time, we'll answer them at the end of this presentation. Upcoming events. What you need to watch for today. So, coming up, overcoming a lack of data regarding the effectiveness of new technology and learning. This is one of the things that you're going to be able to participate in and watch coming today. Effectively transition to new learning management systems. Ensuring the effectiveness of e-learning despite a lack of face-to-face contact. Seems a little bit similar to what we're doing right now. So I think one of the things that you can look forward to is watching this presentation and learning how to do one like this. Day 2 events. How blended learning approaches can ensure positive educational and business outcomes. Be sure to take advantage of this presentation and enjoy it. Day 3 events. Workshop B. Harnessing virtual reality and augmented reality in your blended learning strategy. Sounds great. I hope you enjoy it because it sounds like it's going to be great. That's just a few of the events. There is much, much more that's going to take part in this summit. Thank you for your interest in participating in this summit, and I really hope you enjoy it. Again, this is Kevin Brake from Canada, and I really appreciate the opportunity that I've had today to speak to you. And if you have any questions, feel free to go to alttag.ca and send me an email. Use the contact form. And enjoy your presentation today. I'm going to hand things back off to our conference organizers, and thank you very much for your attention.
We'll be right back.